Hello, it's Tyra with TN Grow Wealth Together. Thanks for joining me. I would love to hear from you as you join in to this live. Let me know you're here. I would love to hear any feedback that you have. So tonight I want to talk about what would your life look differently if you changed course. Now, we're each on a course right now in our lives. Some of us are extremely happy about it, some of us not so much. So, I want us to think a minute, what would your life look like if you changed course? Now, I can't speak for you, but I just was thinking back of if I think back of when my kids were small, I wanted to be home with them. I wanted to make sure they were looked after when they came from school. So I made sure that I was there. So what I had begun to do was I took my training and I became a hairdresser. So there I started changing my course, right? And once I got my hairdressing certificate and I got my journeyman's, this took a couple years, but then I was able to build a salon in my home, and I was able to be home for when my kids got home, because for me that was important. I had been a stay-at-home mom when they were small, and then once they started going to school, I wanted to be there when they got home. I didn't want them to have to come home to an empty house. And so that made a shift in my course. That was the beginning of me being an entrepreneur, working for myself. In those kind of cases, you do have to be self-motivated because you don't have anyone there saying, punch the clock, do this, do that. So from there, my husband and I got into a digital billboard business. My husband, for whatever reason, decided he wanted to do that, and he had never, he barely even knew how to turn on a computer and stuff, right? But he really believed that if you get people that are qualified in certain areas, even if you aren't, they're going to help you along, right? So that's exactly what he did. So he started this. We had digital billboards. We had, I think it was 5 around town, outside ones, the really big ones, right? And so they were having some trouble with the office person. There was a couple of them. And so he said to me, would you be willing to come and work in the office and handle the office stuff, some of the books, some of the programming? I said to him, I'm a hairdresser. I'm artistic. I don't know anything about programming, and I'm very organized. I'm very admin strong, but I had never done things like that. And he said, I know you could do it. If you just decide you can do it and you learn, you can do it. So there again came for me another change in my course of what I was doing. And I had hairdressed by then for probably about 15 years or so. So I learned a bunch of things that I had never learned before. I did some of the simple, it was basic, don't get me wrong, I know what I'm doing programming. It was very simple stuff that we did for ads. We had an ad team, they created the ads, and I was the programmer, as in it's running from this date to that date, it's running on these days, things like that. So it was very simple for me. But it really did introduce me into a whole nother realm, because all of a sudden I was connected. We had a tech guy, we had a creative, 2 people that were creative that did the ads, produced them. So it really opened doors for me. Now, do you see where I'm going with this? Sometimes I have seen in our lives, we can look back and say, oh, okay, yeah, makes sense now. But at the time, we're kind of going step by step, and we're seeing changes happening in our lives, but we don't really see the whole picture. So from there, my husband and I moved to Vancouver Island. We had been living in Saskatchewan in Canada, and we wanted to have a different lifestyle, not so cold, because it's really cold in Saskatchewan. So we moved to Vancouver Island, BC, Canada. Life change, be able to be out. We do a lot of hiking, fishing, all those kinds of things. So then I said, okay, well, nobody knows me here. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. What am I going to do? And I didn't really want to work. Like, I've always kind of worked for myself. So, it was like, I don't want to go and, get a 9 to 5 kind of thing. So then I came across a marketing business put together by some people. And the plan sounded great. The whole thing sounded great. So I dug in for 3 years. I didn't make a dime. I spent a ton of money on advertising and trying to brand myself. And if you have ever done things like that, even with Facebook, any kind of social media, it's challenging. You need to keep learning and growing. Like, you really need to understand the whole marketing thing, the whole traffic. How do I get traffic to come? And like, it was just a whole new ball game for me. So again, there was a change in my direction, right? So all of this that I'm telling you, it led me up to this moment. And if you hear me talk, I interview some of the people on Leadership Council. I've talked to several people, but I just have gotten such a level of excitement because now I see how step by step things were changing, my course was changing, and yet along the way, I was learning things. I learned some very valuable things. So here I am today, and I discover OnPassive. Well, oh my goodness, it's like the icing on the cake, like, oh, because truly, when I looked at it, learning what I learned all these 3 years and the hard work that I did, the money that I spent, I could see it's truly a plug and play business. So, I want you to think about the weekends coming up. Really think about the changes in your life and how you kind of got from A to B. I love hearing people's stories. I love to hear how they got from where they were to where they are. And I was listening to our CEO, Ash, and he talked about parents and grandparents and how they've influenced how we've developed, how we've grown in our personalities, our belief system, all things like that. And that's all the things to take into consideration when you're thinking about, okay, I'm here today. I want to make a change in the course that I'm in. What's that going to look like? What is it I need to do? So for me, I was in marketing. I was learning 3 years, but it wasn't what I was looking for. Like, it wasn't where I wanted to be. And ultimately, I want my freedom. I want my freedom back. Like, I found with my other marketing business that I got up at 6 o'clock. I was working on creatives. I was scheduling. I was posting things, checking my ads. Are they performing? Like, there was just so much going on. And then if I had to work, which I ended up getting another job to be able to support my ad budget so I could keep advertising. And it was like a vicious circle, okay? So finding this has brought me to what I had always been looking for. And as I said, time freedom. Come on, we got to be honest. We cannot get time back. None of us. We buy creams, we buy pills, we buy all these things. We want to be younger, we want to stay younger, we want to look younger. Nobody can get time back. Nobody. But what I have discovered is that if you set your course in a certain direction with a goal in mind, you can find a place where you have time freedom. And I would advise anybody, take a serious look at OnPassive and what we are getting excited about. Sign up for the webinar, listen to it once, twice, doesn't matter. But what I have discovered is all of a sudden, I can get up at 6 still if I want to, but I'm not pinned to my desk. I don't have to do a bunch of things because let me tell you, the way Ash has set things up with this business, the marketing is done, the advertising is done, driving traffic is done. Like, it is mind-boggling. If you get in on the webinar and you listen to it, if you're anything like me, I listened to it a couple times because they have them weekly. Because it was like, this is too good. This is too good to be true. But it is true. It is true. It's amazing what Ash has created. I mean, obviously it was his brain, do you call brainchild, or you know, he birthed it over years and years and years. But when he really brought it full to fruition to create software, like there's 30 plus different kinds of pieces of software that they have created. He started masterminding it. Then he started getting staff. We're at 500 staff now working at it. Like, this is no little curve in the road for changing my life. This is altering. This is life altering. Because if you're anything like myself and what I experienced with trying and honest to goodness, if you would know me, I tried. Like, I seriously tried. My husband would even say in the evening after dinner, okay, get off of that phone already. Get off of that laptop already. You've done enough. Like, I would put hours and hours because I was dedicated to seeing this happen. And it wasn't happening. Nothing was happening. So that is why I am so excited about coming upon something that can truly change the path that I was on, that could truly change my journey going forward. So that's what I've been thinking about, and I suggest for you over the weekend, you know, think about it. What do you want to see for yourself, for your family in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? How do you see that looking? How do you see yourself getting to that place of what you want? I really like setting short and long-term goals because then it's something I can step towards, I can work towards. So, man, check this out. Do yourself a favor and check this out, because it could be the very thing that you have been digging in, you have been desiring, you have been wanting something that you could make that shift and make a change that's going to work for you. It's phenomenal. So check out our webinars. Reach out to me if you want to message me. We can chat. We can messenger. But it's really quite amazing at how a single decision can completely change your life. Like, honest. And my life is changing already. Our soft launch is coming up very soon. It's knocking on the door. Once that happens, no more founders. It's done. We're going to be that little elite group. So it has really affected my life. And I have connected with friends and family and said, honest to goodness, if I had the money right now, I'd buy you all positions. But unfortunately, I don't right now. But yeah, it's one decision on how things could change in your life in such a simple way, and how you can think about where you were back over here at A and how you got to B or C. So that's kind of my thoughts today, my little musing, as it's been said. So thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate everybody that has come onto my page and connected with me. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know how things are for you. You know, how you see change and things that have rolled out in your life. So happy, what is it? Thursday. Wow, tomorrow's Friday already. Have an awesome evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me.